I'm glad to introduce the newest edition of the Afghanistan Development Update. The World Bank team here in Kabul produces the Afghanistan Development Update twice a year with two main aims: to provide a summary of recent economic developments over the last 6 months, and to put them in longer-term perspective and in the global context. A second aim is to actually take a look at particular issues of policy significance that might interest all those of us who are working on Afghanistan's development. Before I turn to the main messages of this particular edition of the Afghanistan Development Update, I'd like to provide a bit of background on where reports like the ADU fit into the work that the World Bank does here in Kabul. The World Bank, despite its name, is not really just a bank. In fact, what we are is a development cooperative made of 170 countries who are its members. As a development cooperative, we provide more than just financing. In fact, we provide a range of services. In particular, we aim to contribute to the knowledge and evidence base that can help inform and design better policies and implement them better, policies and programs to reduce poverty and to spur inclusive growth. We try to combine the lessons from global experience from all the 170 countries that we work in with evidence-based, detailed analysis of the situation on the ground here in Afghanistan. The Afghanistan Development Update is one example of the kind of report we produce. In recent months, we've released others, for instance, the Poverty Update and the recent report on trade and regional integration. I do hope that you will look at these reports. They're all available on our website, and get back to us with any comments. Turning next to the main messages of this latest edition of the Afghanistan Development Update, I'd like to highlight two main points. The first is that economic growth in Afghanistan, though it's still far below what the 9.6% growth that Afghanistan experienced between 2003 and 2012, growth is picking up. In 2017, we project that growth will be around 2.6%, up from 2.2% in 2016 and 1.1% in 2015. We further project that growth will edge up to about 3.2% in 2018. The sharp fall in growth since 2012 is primarily due to the deterioration in the security situation and the decline in investor confidence that accompanied the withdrawal of international troops and the decline in aid. The good news, however, is that Afghanistan appears to be turning the corner, and this is in large part due to the good management of economic policy by the government. Moreover, we think that growth could be boosted further in the next 2 to 3 years with the right combination of fiscal policy and institutional reforms, in particular improving budget execution, which means how effective the government is in spending its budget, and also in reorienting budget expenditures towards labor-intensive and community-based programs that can help support incomes of the most vulnerable socioeconomic groups in Afghanistan. At the same time, it will be important to lay the foundations in the next 2 to 3 years for Afghanistan to realize the full growth potential it has in the medium term. The second highlight of this edition of the ADU that I'd like to draw your attention to is the assessment of health service delivery in Afghanistan that's covered in the focus section. Clearly, much remains to be done in delivering timely, adequate care to all Afghan families. I think there's no doubt about that. But what struck me is how far Afghanistan has come since 2002 in delivering health care, both in terms of coverage and increasingly in terms of quality to all Afghans. In particular, the resilience of health service delivery in Afghanistan in face of all the conflict in delivering this nationwide, that's been quite remarkable, and I think it's worth noting, especially given the experience that other low-income countries, especially countries that have experienced the kind of conflict that Afghanistan has, what their record has been, Afghanistan really does stand out. So with those two highlights, I do hope I've given you enough to try and encourage you to take a look at the Afghanistan Development Update. Please do get in touch with us with your comments, your feedback. We hope to continue this conversation over the next months and years as we release more and more of these reports.